reached Elena's bar. The best place on the internet, the very best by far. She'll help improve your fitness, but there's also so much more. 'Cause here are just a few things that this channel has in store. There's barre and there's Pilates and there's belly dancing too. And many styles of yoga, so I'm sure there's one for you. Then watch her practice pianist string from right within her home. She's in such big condition, she'll outrun the metronome. Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre. They're the best place on the internet, the very best by far. It's not just the piano, but the ukulele too. The guitar and violin are even more that she can do. She does so many different things, it's hard not to lose track. I nearly didn't mention that she posts on her Substack. Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre. The best place on the internet, the very best by far. Yet controversial topics may be brought up for discussion, but try not to provoke her or she'll swear at you in Russian. And sometimes certain topics can make quite a big impression. So remember, you take part at your own risk and your discretion. Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre. The best place on the internet, the very best by far. You might even meet Anitta if you're quite a loyal fan. She's got a fixed male cat, but she's so desperate for a man. We've really got it all, and you couldn't ask for more. So sit right back and watch Elena shave a 3 or 4. Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre. The best place on the internet, the very best by far.
Hello, hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to Elena's Barre and also to the Resurgence of Sanity. I'm today with Steve, and we are going to talk about why do men still pursue women when they know that the quality of women really sucks. And before we start, remember to please like, share, and subscribe, and join us for the conversation. If you want to share your experiences and your observations, the link is shared in the chat. And then before we start, let me just mention our schedule, guys. So we are having multiple activities for you. You can join us for, oops, hold on a second here. I'm trying to show the overlay. Here, the deep dive conversations on Saturdays usually happen with Steve and Nick. Nick is not with us today, but hopefully he will join us next week. And then we have occasional interviews on Tuesdays. If you want to be a part of that interview and have a fun conversation, just reach out and we can schedule it on Tuesday. Then on Monday through Friday, I'm running full body workouts that you can join me on my YouTube channel. And then guys on the Resurgence of Sanity, they have 2 very interesting shows for you on Mondays and Wednesdays at 5:45 p.m. Pacific, at 7:45 p.m. Central, and at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. Okay, let's get back to where we were. Cool. Well, Steve, thanks for helping me to unite all of my thoughts into one topic.
Wow. I didn't know that I could accomplish that much.
And yet you did. I always have a lot of thoughts, guys. And if you are reading my articles on the Substack and leave your comments, and by the way, thank you, Shu Sai, for leaving a comment. I haven't responded to it yet, but I saw it. Yeah, go read my articles, guys. I know that they are a little lengthy, but I think that they will give you a perspective from multiple angles, because I'm approaching it from psychological view, and then I'm also watching Steve, Nick, and Plutarch on the Resurgence of Sanity. I talk to them a lot. I talk to other red pill guys as well, and it's kind of like a summary. I'm doing my best there, but I'll try to shrink my articles eventually, so they're not.
Yeah, well, okay. It's from multiple angles, but from one perspective.
A female perspective.
Because the one perspective is always from the mind of a woman.
Right. Well, I try to view it from men's mindset too, a little bit. No.
Oh, you do fine.
Okay, good. Yeah, I try to be as objective as I possibly can. Well, anyway, guys, please call in. I did share the link here. We would love to hear from you. Here is the link. Just click on it, okay? And we are going to talk about why do men still pursue women when they know that the quality of women is not great today. Steve, what are your thoughts?
Well, what are the alternatives?
Wow, that's a good question. Oh, I know the alternative. You're going to make a show about the alternative soon, right? Is it this Wednesday? AI?
Oh, yeah, I guess. Right. That will include alternatives.
Right. They are working on it. Women outcasted themselves. So that the men are going to replace them with the AI versions or some, dolls out there.
Yeah, well, okay, let's talk about what the options are.
Well, you have OnlyFans girls.
Yeah, okay. Let's not make that. I guess that's kind of an option. You have porn.
3 or 4, yeah. Have
So okay, you don't have to pursue a real woman.
right.
So men can just use porn to get their satisfaction. And that's just images. Okay, you can move that to the next level and have some engagement, but it's still virtual. It's chat type stuff, and that's where the OnlyFans come in.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to spend money on buying interaction. Yes, you get the sexual, plus they spend the money so they can get the interaction with the OnlyFans women.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even have to leave your chair. You don't have to go anywhere. There used to be like the phone sex type stuff. And they wanted money too. That was similar to OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that. You can just live in the current marketplace, and from your computer, you can go on the Bumble and what are all the sites? I think it's not worth my while, so I don't do that. But the online dating.
Yeah.
But actually, if you listen, the chances of having a good match are fairly low. And it just seems like a lot of work for not much effort. Now, if you're a top quality man, yeah, okay. You can probably do okay. Or you can go out and, it depends on your age, where you go, I guess. But you can go out and participate in the free-flowing sex, because women still are receptive. I don't know, most, a lot of women, a fairly high percentage of women, if they're not committed, yeah, they're open to liaisons. So you can, but okay, this is the question. Why do men still pursue them? Well, because that's one of the options available. Or you can go to church and try and find a woman there, and she will pretend to be better. She might be reformed, but is that a superficial thing? Or is she really different? Well, a lot of us have come to the conclusion that a lot of these women are not really different than the ones you're going to meet at the local bar, because she may have been one of those not so long ago. Or you can hold out for the truly virtuous woman, but they're very rare and very hard to identify, because there's a lot of imposters. I mean, reformed. Well, I did that, and now I'm better than that. I'm not doing that anymore. Now I'm a good woman now. So, yeah, okay, and a lot of women have kids, single mothers. So when you get into your 40s, and oh my God, I almost had to sneeze her. When you get in your 40s, what are your options other than single mothers?
Yeah.
And that's, oh man. Okay, she can be a good woman if she's a single mother. You got baggage there. You're going to have to pay for, if you want a relationship, you're going to have to pay for her and her kids. And you're going to be the fill-in dad. But when push comes to shove, you have zero authority. And you have all the responsibility, because she will turn on you if you try to assert any leadership or discipline. And I'm not talking punishment again. I'm talking discipline. No, you screwed up. We're not doing that. You lied. Here are the consequences. We're not tolerating that. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And then she'll take the kid's side. So basically you have no authority. And then if the relationship goes bad all the time, you invested in these kids and you love them, they're out of your life and you will never talk to them again. The courts will not enforce any relationship. You can love these kids with your whole heart, be devoted to them, and you're out. You're done. There is no payback for anything. Man, the risks of a single mother, of having a relationship with a single mother, are actually higher than the risks that young 20, 30-year-old men have in dating a 20 or 30-year-old childless woman. The risks of dating a single mother are higher. So, okay, why do men still pursue women? Well, we have the biological urge, like a woman in our life. Sometimes their feminist mindset, we really can't tolerate that long term unless we turn into a simp. So, what's the best option? Situationships. Booty calls. Is it men are going to pursue what they want, and it's in two areas. One is a relationship. The other one is sexual release. And they're going to get as much of each as many men. I'm not making a moral judgment here. Men adapt to the situation. So if she's not marriage or commitment material, that doesn't mean she's not useful for a relationship. And it's very logical thinking. Should it be that way? Probably not. Definitely not from a Christian standpoint. Is it that way? Yeah.
So what you're saying is I can hear the echo. If she's not a marriage material, she's still suitable for a relationship. Did I get you right? Or
okay, yeah. She's suitable for a type of relationship.
okay. Mm-hmm.
But what is relationship? A relationship is not necessarily commitment. It can be, but not necessarily. I can have a relationship, a situationship. Is a type of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
A booty call woman is a type of relationship. You know, you got, maybe she's your Friday night woman or something. That's a type of relationship. Maybe you get along well enough, but she is a total libtard, and you really can't stand her politics. But if you stay away from politics or her feminist ideas, yeah, okay, maybe she's fun in bed. And, okay, that's as close as I can let her into my life because, man, he's wacko, but he's fun.
Well, and see what women do there. They take they think that this is normal when they are in these situationships, when they are not in a committed relationship, when they are not married. They want to flip men. Okay, if today it's not this guy, it's going to be another guy. They make their necessity their virtue. Because they don't know any better.
No, they don't. Who's going to teach them better?
I don't know.
They're training. They're societal training.
Mm-hmm.
When she's young, in her 20s, and hot looking, the world is her oyster. Everybody is nice to her. And she doesn't have to commit to anything. And it all works out. And, oh, gee, I have this financial difficulty. And often a nice man will step in and help out with that. Or you're in college, you're just not doing so well in this course. You go up to the college professor and, oh, please, I'm not doing so well. And, oh, he'll give you a break. Maybe he'll give you just extra work assignment or something to allow you a path to improve your grade or whatever. Or, I'm not saying any specific case or situation, but women still, when it really gets bad, they do still have the idea, well, I can give sexual favors to get me out of this mess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they do it. Some do. I'm not saying all of them do it. I don't even know what the percentage is. But, you know, life, when you're young and beautiful, everybody desires you. Even the older men, like me, the 60-year-old guys, see this young 20-year-old, and man, she is hot looking. She's sweet. I like her. Oh, she needs a little bit of help. Oh, yeah, I can financially help a little bit. And guys will do that. Even older guys will do that without any sexual reward.
Mm-hmm.
So she's bailed out from all her bad decisions. And then she trains herself that I always have options. And so no one holds her feet to the fire. Says, yeah, don't do that because it's going to turn out bad later. No one's telling her that because everything turns out fine when she's in her 20s. And she doesn't start to realize something until late 20s. Oh, shit. Time to find a man and have a child. She didn't anticipate that, even though it happens to the majority of women. So she's a product of her environment. So, okay. If a man needs a car, where does he go? Go to the used car lot. You can go to the new dealership. And they have both new and lightly used cars. Or you can go online and find a car.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? He's going to pay according to the condition of the car and the mileage on that. And he's not going to pay new car prices for a used car. So he makes his choice. Well, men make the similar kind of choice in the dating world or sexual relationship world. Or he might decide, fuck that, I'm just not going to buy a car. I'll walk.
Yeah. Well, car is an interesting analogy. I've seen it being used also in the manosphere, how people associate women as cars. So women who run through harlots, who are single mothers, they are like an old car. So a man wouldn't pay. He wouldn't pay for the old car the same amount of money as he would have if the car was new. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really true, because women are the product in the end. They are selling themselves, whether they admit it or not, whether they agree with it or not. And the product really sucks today. You look at them, they're not being raised in a strict, disciplined environment because everyone is pandering to them. There are no consequences to their choices. So nothing can stop them. Even if they are lucky, even if they meet the good man by objective standards, it's still not good enough. I've seen a post yesterday. I actually commented on that post. There was a girl in her 20s, I would say. Maybe she's 30, I don't know. She was in a swimming suit. She was celebrating her divorce with the champagne, with all of the, nice glass that was saying that, oh, you don't like him, we hated him too. Congratulations on your divorce. I'm like, seriously, what are you celebrating? That you are a harlot? Why? Like, you failed in maintaining your marriage. What's to celebrate there?
Okay, well, either she's an idiot now for divorcing him, or she was an idiot for marrying him.
But either way, she chose to marry him. Nobody forced her to marry him.
Right. So is she celebrating not being an idiot any longer? Or is she celebrating to disguise the fact that she's being an idiot now? And will she make better choices in the future? Chances are no.
Yeah, being on rollers with a swimming suit and drinking champagne and shouting out to the rest of the world how awesome she is for divorcing her ex-husband. I don't see how it ends well for her in the long run. She's not ugly. She might be lucky. And the problem is that, okay, the pretty girls, they get the privilege, right? Regardless of what we tell men, you don't marry the former divorcees. You just, like, look at how she treated her ex-husband, right? The same thing can happen to you anytime. Like, no, there will be some simp who will step into it. She will do exactly the same thing that she did to her ex. The history tends to repeat itself.
Yeah, well, let's go back to the car analogy. I don't know anybody who's, maybe someone's done this. Okay, you go buy a new car. It has, okay, virtually 0 miles. So, okay, it's a fast car. Nice, expensive engine. It's all shiny. Okay, well, for the first 500 miles, it's got the break-in period. You're not supposed to go full out. And, there's a way to break it in. And then you change your oil, or at least you used to. They've kind of gone away from some of this. But then you change your oil. And okay, now the car is fully functional. Now you can take it out and run it through its paces and, see what this baby's got. And then, within the first year, you're going to have to change your oil. You're going to have to monitor things. Yeah, maybe some of the electronics are going to go bad, and you got to keep on top of it. And that's maintenance. Okay, you get a young woman. Let's say you get a virgin. Okay, you got to go easy at first. And got a break-in period. Man, then you can probably do every wacky, kinky thing you want if you know how to do it and make her purr and run right. But periodically, you're going to have to do some maintenance. Well, the maintenance is not just buying her stuff. Maintenance is kind of like discipline. Because you have to discipline yourself to do the maintenance on your car. It requires cost, money, and actually paying attention and doing what the car needs. Well, you got to do the discipline. It's like maintenance. So now that's a new car. Now, a lightly used car or a 10-year-old car, how do you know if the guy broke that car in properly? How do you know if proper maintenance was done in that car? How do you know there's not, that the oil wasn't, maybe the oil wasn't changed and the engine is ready to blow? That car may have not had good maintenance. That woman that you think is great might look good on the outside, but did she have good discipline over her so she can develop the proper mental discipline Or is she got a lot of screws loose in there?
Yeah. Because appearance is deceiving. There are so many pretty women out there. You know, they look nice on the outside, and they're trying to deceive men even more by converting into trad wives or being a Christian, reformed Christian, or straight going into Christian, into church, right? But deep inside, they still have the same mindset.
Well, unless they've truly repented and done the hard work, which again requires self-discipline.
And it requires time. It's not just one day they do it and they announce it publicly to show to the world that they did it. Doesn't work that way, right? They have to be consistent with what they are doing.
Yeah.
And not go public with it.
So, okay, let's be realistic. Men are going to do what men are doing right now because that's what makes sense. At some level, a man evaluates his options. He decides what he's going to do. And his decision is nothing. Go my own way, pursue whatever I want. And if I need a fast car, I'll go rent one for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go rent one means hook up.
Yeah.
Find a woman, whatever. Not saying it could be prostitution. I don't know. But he could do that. Or he can just go acquire the best car available. But if it's kind of a used car, it's probably not going to get a lot of attention. He probably can't fix everything. And he'll just use it and have fun with it. And then when it's kind of worn out, he'll just sell it, get rid of it. But he had his fun. Well, just superficially, doesn't that make sense?
It does, actually. It does. Well, the problem, though, is that I see is there are not enough good women. There are thousands, millions of harlots. And I'm not saying that they are bad women or not. They are just low-quality women, right? And men who want to spin plates and who only want to have fun. You see, and it's like, yeah, considering the fact that women have no incentive to improve and work on themselves, that's probably a better use for women, just pump and dump them. It makes sense. I mean, I understand if men want to go their way. I have nothing against that, because I think it's a more honest approach to, instead of like spinning plates, instead of giving women what they want or what they think they want right now, feeding into their delusions, right, and having fun using them, basically pimping these women, right, fucking them and dumping them. It's a more honest approach. You just check out and you don't want to deal with women, period. End of discussion, because they are not good quality women out there.
Well, most women are of average ability to think, because most men are of average ability to think.
Mm-hmm.
So, wasn't there a song, Girls Just Want to Have Fun? So, women like to have fun, men like to have fun. So you got this guy that you think, hey, he would be a lot of fun. And so women are susceptible to that guy. Most of them. So they're gonna go for the the high value men.
Yeah, but like high
Now,
value, define high value, because is it just the guy who gives a woman as much fun as she can get? Is it the one who gives you only the tinglies and like he's just, makes
yes,
this
it
emotional
is.
stimuli?
Yes.
Okay.
And he makes enough money. He's pretty fit. He's tall. He's articulate. He makes her laugh. And man, he could be fun in bed. He's kind of a stud. Other women want him. Gee, this is excitement, and women love excitement.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a subset of women who are of a different type. Well, there are various different types, but there are the more intelligent women who actually want mental stimulation. They want a smart man. And they're not quite as much into the emotional, stimulate me, have fun. They want to be mentally challenged. So they seek that kind of man. Those are the type of women who will seek the engineer instead of the finance bro. The engineer is not as polished and socially adept, but he does a lot more thinking and they have better conversations. And maybe that's what she wants. But he has to actually pick for that. But you know what? The line up of women wanting to date engineers is not that long. But she's not. She doesn't value thrills over quality. And there are some women out there like that. And I think Elena is kind of that type of woman. Would you agree?
Oh, that I don't fall for the finance polished guys. Actually, yeah, I would agree with that. I never, I never liked them because I knew that the competition for those guys would be uh, huge, and these guys, they would never commit, or maybe they would, but like they wouldn't want to be in a stable relationship because they enjoy spinning plates, and if you want to be one of those plates, yeah, sure, go fall for that guy. But if you want a stable relationship, being married, you just don't consider them.
Well, yeah. Okay. Let me ask you differently. Would you choose a man with a better mind, brains, and a lesser fit body? Or do you want the man with the fit body and the lesser brains?
Well, and this is, I think, where women really struggle today, because they've been told to evaluate men based on how men evaluate women, based on the looks. So this concept that a man must be pretty and he must have all six-pack abs and he must be cute and look good, it's actually a very female characteristic. This is how women traditionally have been evaluated. No, I wouldn't consider a man who has all the six-pack abs attractive, because in my mind, a woman must be more attractive than a man. I would go for the brain that a man has, because if he has the brain, there is a potential that he could make money, he could have a comfortable lifestyle. I wouldn't fall for the appearance of a man. And I think this is kind of silly because
The fact that you would go absolutely nuts if you were smarter than your man and you couldn't have
right.
a good conversation with him. You would actually probably go insane if you had to be in that relationship.
Yeah.
I mean,
I want a man to be smarter than me. I want him to be more intelligent than me, because if he's not that, then he's not really a man. He's like a woman. He's competing on the same female ground, the same female characteristics as, okay, I have beauty, I have appearance, right? I know that I'm not a 10, but decent looking, okay? I don't want a man who has the same traits as I do and is on the same intelligence level as I am. I want my man to be smarter so that I have respect for him.
Yeah, plus, hey, there's some emotional factor here. When a man challenges you to think, and you're delving into a topic, you get so happy. You get so excited. It's just like, wow, this is great. And that is one of the things that motivates you.
Yeah.
Now, that is different. Most women don't react that way. They don't think that way. They don't seek the mental stimulation because doesn't interest them.
But yet they have a different attitude towards this man, and we've been observing this with the big panel shows, how men are challenging women, like Andrew Wilson, for example. A lot of girls, they have deep respect for him, right? They argue, they disagree with him publicly, but their body language suggests otherwise. They want to be challenged. They just can't admit it to themselves. They are lying to themselves, because this is what feminism told them, that your man is not allowed to challenge you. Nobody is allowed to challenge you. Everybody should trust you 100%.
But their reaction, their internal feelings are feelings of attraction for this guy who doesn't take shit from me.
Yeah.
Because and we don't see a lot of that. But Andrew says, yeah, some of these women that I have the most intense debates with, when we're done, we have some great conversations and we get along fine. And I don't think he said it, but I'll say it. They actually like me.
They do.
Even though they can have difficult debates. Well, it triggers something deep that maybe even these women didn't realize their attraction triggers were for a man who just doesn't back down. You see this when a woman in the flirting stages, when a woman hits a man, she'll hit him in the arm or she'll hit him in the chest. He just shrugs and he doesn't move. I mean, she's not hitting him hard, but hard enough. She wants to check, hey, can I bounce off of him? Does he move? Oh, no, he doesn't move. I bounce off. Oh, okay, this is good. He's solid. He's stable. It's kind of the same thing mentally when a man doesn't back down from a woman. Okay, and this is in the initial stages. That creates attraction. Now, once they're in a committed relationship or marriage, well, now she's really trying to assert her control. And she can go ballistic if she pushes against him and he doesn't back down.
That's true.
That can enrage her then.
Well, and this is what happens, I think, a lot, that women, they don't want to be in these discomfortable relationships where every time they are being challenged and they choose to be right rather than being in a stable relationship where they can respect their husband for saying no to them, basically for disciplining them. They find it attractive at the beginning when the relationship just starts, the first date, or they're just talking to a guy, right? But then once they commit, once they get this guy, they have to behave, right? Because if they don't, then they're easily replaceable, because there are so many other women who will want to be with this man, who will be more compliant to this man, because he has the frame, he has a dominant masculine presence. And these women, they don't understand that they believe into all of the feminist bullshit that tells them that you are the prize, right? He got you, so he must be. Eventually she wants to beta-tize him, and the great challenge for a woman is to take an alpha man, let's say the one who doesn't give up his frame, right, and convert him into a beta. And this is the process of that, the purpose, it becomes the purpose of the long-term relationship. And
yes, and she was happy, and if she succeeds in betaizing him, she will become unhappy. So women are always pursuing unhappiness.
yeah,
They're not conscious of it, but if she succeeds, she will fail. She will not be happy if she succeeds.
she will not. And this is something that women don't want to understand, it's like, and then they find all of the sources of happiness. They make themselves unhappy by trying to beta-tize the man, by trying to change men into something that men are not, right, into woman-like, into a woman-like man. But then they hate this man, and they are pursuing happiness from the external sources, like yoga retreats, like therapies there to make you happy, manifestation, all kinds of meditation, like more delusion.
Well, yeah, and the psychological therapy world talks a lot about boundaries. You need to maintain your boundaries.
Yeah.
And they teach that to both men and women. But nobody wants to talk about hierarchy. And what do you do when someone crosses your boundaries? Well, you let them know it's up to you to maintain your boundary. Well, if you think of nation states, if someone violates your boundary, you're going to do something about it. You're going to take an action. Okay, so boundaries plus hierarchy lead to discipline. That's action. Discipline is an action. Yeah, you transgressed my boundaries or an established boundary that we had. Okay, there are repercussions. And that's discipline. Okay, but it's self-discipline. It's okay, well, I permitted you this freedom. Okay, financially, okay, a husband and a wife. Yes, okay, we got these boundaries, these rules about how we spend money. Mm-hmm. My paycheck goes into the joint account. You're overspending. That's unacceptable. You transgressed the boundary. Now there's discipline. What's the discipline? I don't put all my money in there. That's discipline. Was that punishment? Well, maybe. But no one really wants to talk about discipline. The discipline, you could say, what is discipline? It is experiencing the consequences for crossing a boundary. And women will push to test the boundaries. So if they make a major assault on a boundary and cross a boundary, there has to be consequences, which you can call discipline. Now, Oh, should this apply to men too? Yeah, kind of. But a man pretty much has more internal boundaries. He governs himself based on his moral code. Not all men, not, but a good man will. He's going to give his word and he'll keep it. That's his boundary. It's an internally imposed boundary upon himself. And yeah, you can ask about it, but it's really not. I don't think it works real good for a woman to discipline a man.
Well, and this is
Don't
where,
think that works.
Steve, that's actually a great observation. I've seen a lot of psychological recommendations coming from psyche people to women saying that you ladies need to preserve your boundaries. If he violates them, then basically they are applying what men should be doing with women on women. And then they expect exactly what? They are telling to women that if he violates your boundaries, then you basically find another man. The end result is that, but there could be something else that they add there. It's very strict boundaries for men, so women are trying to control every single man's action.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell anybody to follow my advice. I don't know. I'm just a man trying to figure out life. I've got my experiences, and my scars and my past failures and where I'm at now. And I've done a lot of thought. And so this is my opinion. But I also believe in being kind to people and helping them out because that comes from within me. I don't want to control other people. But if I'm responsible for them and have authority over them, if I choose to take that on, I'm going to take that seriously. So through a lot of thought, okay, this is what I've come up with. Should you follow my advice? That's up to you. You're going to have to struggle through and think about this because I don't think it's a simple answer to how you want to conduct your life.
Yeah. Well,
And it's really tough for men like me, anywhere from 40 to 60, who are divorced or unmarried. What do you do about women? You still like women. What are you going to do? Are you going to pretend, oh, there's still a unicorn out there for me? Or are you just going to pursue for the fun of it? Or is that even worth your effort? Are you going to commit? Because now you have hopefully more resources. But she's got less, as men age up to a certain point, they become more valuable, more attractive. Because they have more confidence, more money, and more knowledge. And as women age over time, they become less valuable. A 45-year-old woman is less valuable than a 35-year-old woman. And a 35-year-old is less valuable than a 25-year-old. Because, the whole sexual urge is biologically about producing offspring. So, yeah, okay, she's 45, 50. Really? Are you going to pay top price for that? You gonna commit to that? Nah, I don't know. It's a tough decision.
Well, there is a reason why we have so much free corn for men with older women. They offer it for free because they know that not that many men are going to pay them the prime for their sexuality versus the younger girls. And look, I see also when we talk about attractiveness of men and women, so men with age, they gain attractiveness, women lose it. But yet I see a lot of content creators saying that women with time, they basically become more wise, they become more rational, or whatever they choose to say there. But they refuse to acknowledge that their attractiveness is not the same. Their sexuality is not evergreen. This is the delusion.
Yeah, well, okay. I listened to a interview or a talk between James Sexton, a New York
Yeah.
divorce attorney, and Orion Terabin, who is the
The
psychologist living
psychologist,
in LA. And it was 3 hours.
uh-huh.
It was really good. But they talked about how easy it is for a woman to impress a man in one aspect. So for a man to impress a woman, he has to go drop a bunch of money, take her on an exotic vacation, and then she'll brag about it. For a woman, okay, let's say they're married. And let's say just he's an average guy, working class guy. Doesn't wear fancy clothes to work. But what if every day that he goes to work, he has clean clothes? He's just got an average shirt, collared shirt, whatever. But it's not all wrinkly. Maybe it's ironed a little bit. Maybe there's care taken, and he doesn't have to do any of that. And he walks in to work, and he always feels just a little bit better, more put together than the other guys. And then, you know what? He's going to brag to the other guys. Yeah, my wife does the laundry, and she even irons my shirts every day. And the other guys are going to go, whoa, wow, you really have a good wife. They're going to be envious of that man. Okay, he just complimented her to other men. He affirmed her value. When he gets home, he shows appreciation and he values that woman for that act. Well, it's an act of being of service to her man. But how many feminists are saying, I'm not going to wash his clothes. They are his. And he can take care of it himself. Oh, man, for such a trivial, small thing, you can gain so much praise in your husband's mind.
Yeah.
And bragging to other men. Oh, he's not going to brag to her. Oh, yeah, you won't believe the wild monkey sex we had last night. No, he's not going to do that.
Maybe that's what women want, that the other men know.
He's going to go and say, damn, every day I have a nice clean shirt to wear. And I come home and she cooks great meals. And all the other men are going to say, wow, you have a good woman there.
Yeah.
How difficult is this? And how brainwashed are women to say, I'm not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's bringing home his paycheck. He's supporting you.
Yeah.
And isn't that what you want? But you're not willing to give him that little bit because no, you are
the prize.
Strong, empowered, proud woman.
All of the delusions that are being fed to women. Here is the outcome of all of that. Women are so lazy, so entitled, so toxic that, and then they whine on men that there are not enough masculine men out there. They are so contradicting to themselves. They whine that there are not enough masculine men, that they would, you know what, recent ones I've seen, they were saying that, well, if the man was the right man, I would be more compliant. I would be a good woman for him if he was the right man. I seriously have a problem with this like right man phrase that feminists use, because like define the right man. There are so many good men out there whose wives are just ungrateful bitches. Seriously, they don't cook, they don't clean, they don't do anything in the house. All they want is just men's resources, men's commitment, nothing else. They don't even want to have kids.
You know what? Can I translate what she said?
Yes.
Oh, if he was the right man, I would be more compliant.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how does she know he's the right man? Is she going to behave any differently with the right man? No. Because there's this thing called shit tests.
Uh-huh.
So the wrong man gets shit tested. How do you know he's the wrong man? He failed the shit test.
Mm-hmm.
The right man gets shit tested. And he says, no, I'm not putting up with that. You need to do this. Oh, okay. Now she learned that she thumped his chest. He didn't move. He didn't flinch and said, no, you're not moving me. This is your job. Do it. Oh, okay. So now she's going to behave differently. So she is right. She will behave differently for the right man. She will act the same. Give him the same shit test. He will not fall for her shit test, and he will pass the shit test, and then she will act differently. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. So basically, if a man is masculine, he doesn't give up on his masculinity. But then, like, how can they maintain this man? If they tell, like, there is cognitive dissonance in there, two contradicting ideas. At first, she says that I want the right man who wouldn't give up his masculinity, right? But then when he challenges her, he requires her to be disciplined, right? There are consequences to her poor decisions. She hates on him because she still believes that she is the priority. These two, they just don't make sense together. Two contradicting ideas.
Okay. Let's say, men don't learn and women don't learn. But, okay, I've had this analogy in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
There's a brick wall. And a woman looks at that brick wall and says, gee, is that brick wall solid? And so she goes up and she pushes on that brick wall. Yep, that brick wall is solid. Yep, that's good. Okay, now I feel safe because that brick wall is solid and it's holding up the roof. Next week, she looks at that brick wall. Is that brick wall still solid? She has to test it. So she goes up and pushes on that brick wall. Yep, still solid. Yep, I'm feel safe. And then a week after that, wow, I wonder about that brick wall. I don't know. So she takes a running, I'm going to try and bust it down with my shoulder. Nope, I bounced off. Okay, I guess that brick wall is still solid. Okay, that is like the shit test. A guy cannot, he's the brick wall. he can't pass the shit test once. And then she goes, oh, okay, he's solid. I trust him now. No, she's going to come back and she's going to push against it. And then eventually she's just going to go into a rage, tirade, whatever. She's going to take a running, put her shoulder against that wall and see if it's still solid. Yeah, she's going to hurt herself in the process, but she's still going to do it. That's the tantrum. And okay, I guess that wall is still solid. And you know what? That never ends. 10 years down the road, she's going to look at that brick wall and say, damn, that brick wall is kind of old. I wonder if it's still solid. It's going to go push on it.
Right. I have nothing against that, it's totally fine. But there are also conditions. Like if she bounces off that wall, then she still has to comply with the boundaries and guidelines of the man. She can't instill her boundaries. And this is where I see a lot of feminists are struggling. They want a strong, masculine, rational man. Biologically, all women want it. Okay, no matter how they try to convince themselves otherwise. In fact, the convincing part comes from the feminist bullshit. The feminism tells women, no, you don't need a strong man who provides. You can provide for yourself. You can be all strong, powerful, and independent. You only need men for emotional support and maybe provision. Now they bring up all of the traits that they want, right? But there is this disbalance in their brain that is happening. On one side, biology tells them that you want a strong, solid wall. You want a man who is strong and masculine and rational, who can tell no to you. But it comes with its own limits. A woman shouldn't have freedom to do what she wants without talking to her man and him approving of her actions. Because if she wants a cake and eat it too, it's not going to work. It's not going to work with this strong masculine man.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, those are the cases when she tests a wall. Gee, that wall is kind of weak. She busts through the wall. She busts through the boundaries. Gee, guess I was right. That wall really wasn't as strong as I thought.
But then, Steve, it's also not just the man who is shaken by a woman. It's also the institutions, because a man, there are decent men out there, and not all of them are going to have super strong frame. In fact, most men are not going to be alpha men out there. I don't know what women are hoping for. Most men are not going to be alpha. They're going to be beta. They're going to be decent men out there. So a woman can, with her feminist bullshit in her brain, she can run through the wall, and then she can ditch completely decent guy out there. Like, not all men will be able to withhold the storm that a woman is approaching them with.
Yes, absolutely true. Guess what happens if she busts through that wall? Or 2, 3, 4 walls. What happens next? The roof crashes down on her head.
Well, that's...
So, okay, don't, you know what? You're going to test the wall. We know that. But show a little bit of restraint. Just because you busted through that wall doesn't mean the other walls are weak. Right. And yeah, we can repair that wall. And yeah, maybe you even put a bulge in that wall. Oh, okay. Now, hey, if you keep running at that point 20 times, yeah, probably you can break through it.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, if she keeps trying.
But okay, so there's a dynamic here. The man has to stand strong, and you know what? It's got to say, stop running at it. Stop doing that. There are consequences.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put up with this kind of testing all the time. You know, he doesn't have to have a intellectual basis, but he has to pass the shit test. He has to get this mentality into his mind about what shit tests are and that they never end. And the greatest book talking about shit tests and how to deflect and deal with them is a book that we previously talked about, Practical Female Psychology for the Practical Man by Joseph South. Still available. That is a thin book. It has so much wisdom in that about dealing with different types of women, about their mindset. I highly recommend that book. It's not Christian. So for your Christian guys out there, you know what? There is information that is written by non-Christians that can be compatible with your Christian beliefs.
Mm.
Should you do everything they say? No. You know, use your head. But you can actually learn from the behavior of sinful people because you have those same tendencies in you. She has those same tendencies in her. Just because they are different than you or act on their things doesn't mean you can't learn from them. And learn. Christian men need to learn how to pass fit tests.
Yeah. And shit tests will change over time. I'm not saying that they are bad or anything. It's just women need to be mindful that if a man passed a few of the shit tests at the beginning, chances are he will be passing those shit tests. And like the rage that feminists have against men, it's just like they hate on all men. And at the moment, like it's almost like they are looking for an excuse. They are looking for an excuse to hate on that man even more and to dump him, take all of his resources, and maybe find another guy to replace that guy. Because if a woman wanted to commit to a man and stay in a stable relationship, if your priorities were, again, Steve, we are putting it all on men, you know, but a woman has agency, right? She can choose to behave in this crazy way. How did our grandmothers, great grandparents live in long-term relationships with each other? Because they were entering marriage with a purpose to stay married, to raise kids together, and to die together. And now what? Now what? Like, oh, constantly pass her shit test. Again, all of the burden of performance on a man, all of the responsibility on a man. Nothing is on a woman, right?
Yeah. Society used to help to a man to enforce boundaries. Now,
Eamma, oh, hold on here. Eamma left an interesting comment here. Women will keep moving the parameters for the shit test. 100% agree.
Absolutely. Just take that to the bank. A wife will continue to shit test you for your entire marriage. Oh, it shouldn't be that way. I don't care. It is that way.
Yeah.
Just get over it. Okay. Now you think, oh, it's just modern women that are this way, right? Wrong. Do you have any did you study any English literature? Do you remember Shakespeare? What was that story? The Taming of the Shrew?
Oh, I love that story.
What? What? Who was the shrew?
The woman.
And she was full of piss and vinegar, just an unruly woman. And she was a handful, right?
Mm-hmm.
probably a very smart woman, a very driven woman. How was she tamed? I don't remember the story exactly, but by enforcing boundaries. And I think her father was involved because her husband wanted to send her back, and it took quite a bit to tame her.
Yeah.
But once she became tamed, she was actually more content. Well, gee, was there just a bunch of shit tests? Was she a woman that just needed a supremely strong man and, just needed to exhaust herself by pushing and running against that wall? And eventually, yeah, okay, that wall is strong. Now I can relax and be content and feel safe.
Okay, now I have a question for you. It's more practical, Steve. We have so many unruled women out there who behave worse than wild animals. How do you suggest, like that, from statistical standpoint, there are only a few men who could probably do it, but this would require to have harems of women for one man if he could handle that many women.
No. Okay, I know myself, and I've said this, and it reflects my belief in myself. One man can only handle one woman.
One woman, yeah.
So, yeah, there are all kinds of feral women out there. Yeah, that's the word for wild women. Feral.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tame a woman that you don't own. Okay, now I'm using that word own loosely. You can't tame a woman that doesn't belong to you. Okay, belonging. You get married. Now she belongs to you. You belong to her. So, in that global sense, you're responsible for her. You're the husband, the house master. She belongs to you. In a certain sense, she is your property. Not to control, but to look out for. And husband means to watch over. Because what animal husbandry, that is managing livestock. And you are looking out for their good to make sure they thrive and they have enough food and water. You have the fence maintained so they don't get out. Okay, you are taking responsibility and authority. In this sense, it's not control for evil means. Okay, a wife belongs to a husband. And you need to manage her and manage your relationship and be the man, be the head. And unfortunately, when in our modern politically correct environment, when we can't even talk about these similarities, we have to be careful not to use these words because someone will take it wrong. You can't get to the essence of the idea. Now, if a future woman that I'm interested in watches this and you think, oh, I'm going to be cruel. He's a cruel man and he's going to be controlling and he wants to dominate or, be domineering and all that. Well, you can believe what you want, but damn, that's too much work for me to control every aspect of your life. Sorry, I'll take on certain things.
But also, like, how would you fix this women? I don't think they can be fixed, but like you say that one man can only handle one woman, but then if women don't want it, they will end up being subjugated eventually, because the ultimate result of feminism is polygyny. So a man has multiple women that he will be taken care of, and women will be following his rules, his guidelines, because if they don't, there is abundance of single mommies out there. They can be easily replaced with another woman who would be more compliant. If women don't understand the benefits of monogamous relationships, I'm sorry, there is only so much we can do here, because it takes collective mindset to do a real change. We will end up in polygamous relationships where a man will be assigned multiple women that he will be taken care of, whether this woman or that man wants it or not. This is unavoidable.
Well, that's a theory. It's not going to happen tomorrow. Might not even happen in my lifetime. But given the current trajectory, a lot of people speculate it will happen. So, and there are a lot of people speculating, believing that, yeah, we're going to end up with some difficult times in the near future. Near future means weeks, months, a year, 2 years. We're going to have a recession. Government is kind of running out of money. Well, they never run out of money. They can print more money. But the petrodollar is dead.
Well, where does the money come from? From the government, who is paying most of the taxes. It's men, it's not women.
Right.
And then
yeah, okay. But here's what's going to happen. There's going to be, at some point, I don't know when, there's going to be a financial calamity.
Mm-hmm.
And my advice to women is, you better find yourself a man. Have you ever played the game of musical chairs?
Yes. I know.
What happens when the music stops and you don't have a chair? Oh, you lose. Hey, while the music is playing, find yourself a good chair, sit in it, and say, this is my chair. And recognize that God created you not to be in charge of that chair, not to be in charge of the man. You were created to be a helpmeet. You want to be a valuable woman, find a man. Maybe he's not the ideal fairy tale prince that you imagine. But if he's a good quality man, you know what? He might be the good man that's going to protect you when the bad times come. And gee, putting some investment right now, cooking some good meals and ironing his shirts. And remember, what do men want? RSVP. Respect. Sexual variety. That's one. And peace. Most of the time. Now, that doesn't mean you can't throw your occasional tantrum and tirade. Doesn't mean you can't do your occasional shit test and be a handful. Yeah, okay, but just don't do that most of the time.
Yeah. We have Ashton joining us today. Great to see you, ladies. Yeah, I'm so happy to see Eamma. When will you be able to join us, Eamma, live? Any time, okay? And then Ashton is here. Great to see you.
You know, Ashton and Eamma, is anything that I'm saying here highly offensive or make you fear me as a man?
Yeah, let us know, ladies, in the comments. Is Steve being offensive here? Yeah, it's actually not that difficult to please a man for a woman, especially when men are not being spoiled. Unlike women, it's very hard. Notice how it's very hard to please a woman with all of the list of demands that she has for a man. There was a book with 427 or how many points that women want in a man. And yet men are so much simpler and so much easier to please than women. And yet women refuse it. And I'm not talking about you ladies who are watching this show, you know, but like if you analyze content, and we've analyzed a lot of content with Eamma, we've seen raging feminists out there, and they think it's very, very difficult. No, Steve, you are not being offensive, Eamma says.
Well, one more thing to bring this point home. Since we're Christian, how is a man supposed to love a woman? Go to Ephesians 5. A man is to love his wife as Christ loved the church. How did Christ love the church? He loved the church so much that he sacrificed and gave his life. So, ladies, here's the deal. You can serve your man as the leader. And by doing that, you will inspire him, because it's within his being, his essence, to be willing to actually give his life for you, to make great sacrifice for you, including his life. That's the Christian teaching. And if you ask a Christian man this, he will say, well, yeah, of course. Secular man, okay, it's been kind of trained out of them. But if you really find a good man, he will know this in his heart. And he does. Okay, men are simple creatures. Threat? It's threatening my family, I'm after it.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a decision-making process. So that's why when times get tough, you need a man. And you best find an adequate man. And the adequate man is probably the best man you can get. So you're not settling. You're getting something of high value. But keep in mind, and okay, back to our why do men still pursue women given the current quality? Well, you know, men adapt to the situation. So unless you're that high value woman who actually brings more to the table than just your vagina, you know, you're just going to be treated as your worth. That's all that is your worth. That's all you're going to get.
Well, and what feminism taught women is that the only value that women bring is their vagina. Wow, this is so powerful. I agree 100% with you, Steve, because look, they try to do all of the things that a man is doing, but they are not being valued for those things, and yet they keep trying and insisting, and it's a sign of insanity to keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. That men will value you for your worth, for your money, for your boundaries, for whatever you convince yourself with.
See, both men and women use GPS to navigate. Men think GPS means global positioning system, and he uses it to navigate his way through the world.
Mm-hmm.
Women believe GPS means golden pussy syndrome. Everything centers around my vagina. The world revolves around me and my vagina.
And then they blame men for sexualizing women. Men are sexist. Men are doing this. Men are doing that. Like, by you not wanting to comply with the female duties and committing to one man, you actually sexualize yourself. because your only value then is in your vagina. And then men pump and dump you, and you end up in constant situationships.
Yeah, well, I think Elena's camera overheated. This has happened a few times.
Well, yeah, it did. And it's almost time for us to wrap up. But I really, really enjoy today's conversation, Steve.
Yeah, well, we always had interesting conversations. And, they're going to be a little bit controversial.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they're a little bit humorous so you can laugh along with us and, make up your own mind.
Yeah. Hypocrisy rules these days, Ashton says. Yeah. Women create all of the damage for themselves, and then they blame it all on men.
Yeah, okay. What else is new under the sun?
Yeah. Ashton says, great show today. Thank you, Ashton, for joining us. It's the first time you showed up on time, relatively.
Well, it's great when women show up.
Yeah.
They listen to this kind of stuff. And, Ashton, if you can laugh at yourself, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a man, I laugh at myself and my past decisions and say, damn, what a dumb shit I was. And humor helps take the edge off of that.
It really does. And if you have humility to laugh at yourself and acknowledge that you were wrong, you actually can make better decisions in your life later on.
The person who's willing to admit they're wrong is actually demonstrating their higher value.
Yeah. But then it requires not just admit publicly, like some reformed harlots do, that they were wrong and they didn't realize what they were doing and all of that stuff. But yet the repentance and the consistent actions of proving that you were wrong, okay, now what are you going to do about it? It's not just like, okay, I'm saying that I was wrong, but I'm not willing to do anything about it. I'll keep doing what I did, and what I did was wrong. And therefore you see a lot of them, they just revert back to where they were. They're not really reformed at that point.
Yep.
Yeah. Eamma says she really enjoyed the show. I'm watching as I'm cooking. Oh, that's okay. Multitasking. I sometimes do that too. Yeah. Well, great show today. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. And if you want to do an interview to talk about a specific topic, let me know. Reach out to me on Instagram at elenasbarre. I'm going to show you our schedule again, since we are wrapping up here.
Okay, I'll let you close it out. I'll be back in a bit.
Okay. So we have deep dive conversations with Steve and Nick from Christianity Unplugged. Both of them have their own YouTube channel with my husband, Plutarch H, The Resurgence of Sanity. So on The Resurgence of Sanity, you can find two different shows on Wednesdays and on Mondays at 5:45 p.m. Pacific, at 7:45 p.m. Central, and at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Please go support The Resurgence of Sanity. Subscribe to their YouTube channel, guys. And they talk about very, very interesting topics. They dive very, very deep. In fact, some of our conversations on Saturdays are based on the topics that they are talking about on their shows. And then on Saturdays, we have deep dive conversations with Steve and Nick, like I mentioned before, at 9:15 a.m. Pacific, at 11:15 a.m. Central, and at 12:15 p.m. Eastern. Then we can schedule an interview or an interesting conversation on Tuesday at 11:15 a.m. Pacific, at 1:15 p.m. Central, or at 2:15 p.m. Eastern. And then join me for the workouts 5 times a week from Monday through Friday at 9:15 a.m. Pacific, at 11:15 a.m. Central, and 12:15 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, cool. Okay, Steve, I'm done here. Yeah, Ashton, it would be awesome if you could join us one day. Okay, well, when you get your equipment. Perfect. Yeah, well, anyway, great to see you all today. Remember to please like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. And leave us your comments. Tell us what you think about these topics. And if you'd like to join us next time, if we know you, we will welcome you here. But if it's your first time here, we would love to maybe talk to you before the show, just to make sure, you know, and check your content maybe. Do some waiting, okay? And reach out if you'd like to join us. And
well, you don't need a webcam either.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some.
Well, there are so many trolls though, Steve. I wouldn't.
Well, you know what? We'll evaluate.
Yeah.
If you really want to be on and you're not completely set up, hey, talk to us. We'll see if we want to bring you on, and you know, we'll deal with it on a case-by-case basis.
Case-by-case, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, because I have in the rules, I have that the camera and the microphone should be on so that we can see people well, but it's for those that we haven't ever met before. But if we met you before, then yeah, maybe we will allow you to have no camera if you want to preserve your privacy, or you can put an icon on your instead of your video. Okay, cool. Anyway, thank you, Steve, so much. I made so many notes. I'm going to maybe summarize and write an article about the 2 topics that we've covered last week and this week. And yeah, guys, if you haven't read my articles on Substack, please go check them out and tell me what you think about them. Please like, share, and subscribe, as I've mentioned before. It helps a lot. And join us for more activities. We'll see you soon. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
The best place on the internet, the very best by far.